In the early years of World War II, when skies over Europe filled with the thunder of bombers and interceptors, one aircraft stood out for all the wrong reasons. It was narrow, long, and almost delicate compared to the massive bombers that came later. But this odd machine, elegant and slender, like a dart, could carry bombs, dive with deadly precision, and outrun most of the fighters sent against it. Its official name was the Dornier Do, but to the men who faced it, it was simply known as the Flying Pencil. Built long before the war began, the Do became one of the most important bombers of the German Air Forces, and one of the first aircraft to define modern aerial warfare. Stay until the end to find out why Allied pilots at first laughed at the strange thin bomber they nicknamed the Flying Pencil, and how that same aircraft would go on to shape the future of aerial warfare across Europe. Birth of the Flying Pencil. The Dornier Do was born not as a bomber, but as a fast mail and passenger aircraft in the early 1930s. Germany was still restricted by the Treaty of Versailles, which limited its military production. But engineers quietly designed the Do to be easily converted into a military role. Sleek, fast, and ready for combat if the need arose. Its narrow fuselage earned it an early nickname, Fliegender Bleistift, the Flying Pencil. The aircraft's shape wasn't just for looks. It made the bomber more aerodynamic, giving it speed that no other aircraft of its class could match at the time. When the German Air Forces secretly rearmed in the mid-1930s, the Do was ready. By 1937, it was already in combat, not over Europe, but in the skies of Spain. Baptism of fire in Spain. During the Spanish Civil War, the Do made its combat debut with the Condor Legion. It proved something that shocked foreign observers. A bomber didn't have to be slow. The Flying Pencil could cruise at over 255 miles per hour, fast enough to outpace many early fighters. Its speed, combined with a precision bombing capability, made it ideal for rapid strikes and tactical missions. The lessons learned over Spain would later shape how the German Air Forces planned their entire air strategy in World War II. Fast, coordinated strikes that relied on speed and surprise instead of brute force. Over Poland and France. When war erupted in 1939, the Do was at the front of nearly every major air operation. In Poland, its speed and low-level accuracy allowed it to strike airfields and columns with devastating efficiency. In France, the Flying Pencil was part of the wave of bombers that shattered defences and opened the way for German armour. Crews praised its stability and handling. It could take punishment, fly low, and return even when badly damaged. It was smaller than the Heinkel HE-111 and carried fewer bombs, but it was far more manoeuvrable and, crucially, faster. Battle of Britain. By 1940, the Flying Pencil faced its greatest test, the Battle of Britain. Now, for the first time, it was not flying over unprotected skies, but into the teeth of a determined modern air defence. British radar, coordination, and the Hurricanes and Spitfires made daylight bombing missions dangerous. The Do, once praised for its speed, now found itself barely fast enough to escape interception. Many were shot down, but they also earned respect. The Do-17's crews were known for their discipline, flying their slim bombers into impossible formations under heavy fire. One of the most famous incidents came on August 18, 1940, when a Do-17Z, flown by Oberleutnant Robert Zaber, was shot down during a raid on Kenley Airfield. The bomber crashed, and parts of it were later recovered, remnants of one of the last surviving flying pencils from that battle. Despite heavy losses, the aircraft's reputation for agility and toughness grew. It became a symbol of the early war German air campaign: fast, precise, and relentless. The shadow of obsolescence. As the war dragged on, the Do-17 began to show its age. Newer bombers like the Junkers Ju-88 and Dornier Do 217 carried more bombs, flew higher and farther. By 1941, the flying pencil had largely been replaced on the front lines, but its design, aerodynamic, efficient and fast, influenced the next generation of twin-engine bombers. It taught the world that bomber design was no longer about sheer size or power, but about speed, versatility and precision. A forgotten legend, rediscovered. For decades, the Do-17 faded from memory. Then, in 2013, off the coast of Kent, divers discovered the wreck of a Dornier Do 17Z, perfectly preserved in the cold waters of the English Channel. It had been shot down during the Battle of Britain, and its recovery was one of the most remarkable aviation archaeological projects in history. The aircraft was lifted from the sea and restored by the Royal Air Force Museum, allowing historians to see once again just how advanced its design had been for 1934. The narrow fuselage, the twin fins, the sleek canopy. It all looked more like a post-war aircraft than a pre-war one. The legacy of the flying pencil. The flying pencil was more than just a bomber. It was a bridge between two eras. It connected the slow, lumbering aircraft of World War I to the sleek, modern designs that would dominate the skies by 1945. Its innovations, streamlining, all-metal construction and internal bomb bays became standard features on aircraft for decades. And even though it was soon overshadowed by faster, more devastating bombers, it remained one of the most important aircraft of the early war. The flying pencil had written its name in history, in long, thin lines across the skies of Europe. This is a true World War II story, because sometimes the strangest design hides the most brilliant ideas. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more true World War II stories.